Hello, my name is Hannah Ward, and I recently completed the OLCE Silver Challenge Fall 2021 at UNCG. To complete this challenge, I had a coach. My coach was Dr. Jennifer Stevens, and I completed this challenge with the help of the UNCG Teaching Fellows. The focus of my challenge project and ultimately what I wanted this experience to go towards is my development as a future teacher. So without further ado, I'm going to begin. During the Silver Challenge, it was important for me to create goals with my coach. I worked on different types of goals, personal goals, professional goals, and academic goals. Most of these goals related to my desire to become a teacher and build my professional skill set as a teacher, specifically an English teacher. But these goals also included some personal accomplishments that I wanted to sort of work towards, including taking more care of my mental and physical health and working towards getting some of my writing published. There were also academic goals of completing my spring 21 and fall 21 semesters with at least a 3.7 GPA. The experience of having a coach was a very interesting and beneficial one for me because it allowed me to have somebody to bounce my ideas off of while working through not only setting goals for myself, but also how to achieve those goals in my life. So I felt that it was really helpful for me to be able to talk to Dr. Stevens about the larger things I wanted to accomplish in my life, and then work with Dr. Stevens on how to break those down into smaller goals that could be completed throughout the course of this challenge. As for growth, I have noticed a lot of growth in myself, especially throughout this silver challenge, but also from bronze to now. I think that lots of the things that have contributed to my growth would be the ability to sort of have an introspective look on myself and my leadership abilities, my leadership experience, and just recognizing where I need to go from there and where I can go from there and how to do that. Specifically, I learned a lot about my own strengths and weaknesses, especially as a leader, but also while working within a team. And I feel like in regards to these strengths and weaknesses, identifying a previous weakness of addressing conflict management has helped me to build upon that now. And I would confidently say that my conflict management skills have improved throughout the course of this challenge. That is, of course, just one of the many different things that I worked on throughout the semester, but I feel like it is one of the most important because conflict management is very important to me as a future teacher and addressing how I run my classroom, how I deal with parents, how I deal with administrators, students, as well as just issues that come up in my personal life. For my community engagement, I completed my service with both Hope Academy and Grimsley High School. I completed this service through two different schools, but still under the umbrella of educational service, because I felt like this diverse experience of having an experience within a private school of Hope Academy and a public school of Grimsley High School could help me get a broader understanding of my future career field, as well as allow me to practice leadership skills into very different environments. I learned a lot through this experience, especially in regards to how I could interact with students due to the current pandemic. Interactions with students, even for someone like me who is a teacher education student, these interactions have been very limited and very difficult for any sort of relationship building with students. So these experiences would be my first real experiences in person in a classroom and working with students. And I felt like that was very beneficial for my development as a teacher to actually have that in-person practice of my leadership skills. As a student and a community member and a leader, I feel like my service in this organization has impacted me in just opening my eyes up to the different issues that are currently affecting our education system and how I can address these issues both as a future teacher, as a community member, and as a leader within my classroom and within my community. Specifically, in addition to my service hours, I also completed a SWOT analysis, and I chose to do my analysis of Hope Academy, which was the private school that I completed service at. So just to summarize, the strengths of the organization that is Hope Academy would include that this organization promoted a wide range of learning activities for their students, which included both hands-on and more traditional activities within the classroom. This school also seemed to do a great job in promoting a diverse selection of literature for their students than other schools. They had a much less restrictive library requirement and much more flexibility in the types of literature that they presented to their students, both for their students' own independent reading and for their students to analyze in a classroom setting. Some of the unique capabilities of this organization would be that this organization puts a lot of focus on real world skills, which they teach their students. And also this organization has a very unique staff because this school is made up of a diverse range of professionals rather than solely licensed education professionals. Some weaknesses that I identified about Hope Academy would be that this organization is underfunded because they do not receive state allowances for the programs like public schools would. They have also chosen to offer reduced tuition prices in order to serve more students in the community. Similar organizations that might be facing this issue of being underfunded often place more time and effort into fundraising strategies. And this is something that the school could attempt to focus on, especially in regards to community building initiatives that could inspire larger community organizations to donate to this organization. And I think that the best way to do this would be to just promote further the good that this organization does for students and how positive their impact is in the community. As for opportunities, one of the trends that I identified that could positively impact this organization would be the trend towards universities and secondary schools requiring community service hours for their students, as well as classroom experiences. This organization could be improved by reaching out to nearby universities and schools to find volunteers that may give the organization more staffing power, which could allow them to offer more clubs, diverse experiences, and activities for their students. A trend that I identified as a potential threat to this organization would be the rise of homeschooling and online schooling that has occurred from both before and during the current pandemic. Because this organization is already underfunded, this trend negatively impacts the organization by taking away from the potential students and potential funding initiatives that this organization could take advantage of. So now that I have this information, one of the things that I think that I can do to positively impact this organization in the future would be to work with Hope Academy to publicize the positive work that this organization does. Specifically, I believe that I can promote my positive experiences volunteering for this organization to others, especially within my university, in order to help gather more support for the initiatives of the organization. I also believe that I could potentially work in the future by helping lead fundraising initiatives for this organization, such as drives to gather learning materials and just overall promoting the organization within the community. For personal motivation, I believe that it is important to lead for positive social change because I see change as a chain reaction. Once one person begins to work for change, others will see that work and begin to follow in assisting with this change as well. It always takes somebody willing to start the work in order to gather a team of change makers. And as a leader, I feel like this is something that is very important but often overlooked, is just the desire and the initiative to get things started. A lot of times people think that a leader needs to be somebody who can organize large efforts and coordinate the efforts of a team, but they often forget that something has to happen in order for that team to even exist in the first place. As for the why that motivates me personally and drives my leadership, is that I believe, especially in the field of education, so many organizations and systems do such great work that is often shadowed by the flaws of the education system. As a future teacher and somebody who desires to work in a classroom, I am passionate about education and motivated to create equitable opportunities for all students. I believe that as a teacher, it is not only my job to teach my students, but also to show them that they can be change makers and that they all have the capacity to be a leader. And in order for me to show that, I need to know how to be a leader myself. Moving forward, I would like to attempt to work towards projects which may better the effectiveness of different educational organizations. Specifically, I would like to continue volunteering within the organizations of Grimsley and Hope Academy, and would like to work towards promoting my experiences in order to get more support for these organizations. I do hope to complete the Gold Challenge in the future. And I think that one of the things I could explore for that challenge and just for my own service in the community would be different ways to gather more support for these organizations that I have been serving in, like Hope Academy. And with that, I conclude my presentation. I thank you so much for allowing me to complete this challenge and just for listening to what I have to say. I would like to say that this experience has been a wonderful one for me. I feel like I have grown so much in my own personal leadership, as well as just become so aware of the different things and the impact that I could potentially have in my community and beyond. So thank you for listening to my presentation, and thank you for allowing me to complete the Silver Challenge.